friends, this video on motion in a plane part 3 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Please make sure that you have watched parts 1 and 2 before going ahead with part 3. Now we'll look at combination of vectors. Till now we saw how do we combine scalar quantities, right? So here we'll see here we'll basically start with how to combine vector quantities. Let us take an example. The first thing we'll start here is position and displacement. We'll start with these two basic things. As I told you before, displacement is a vector. So here I'll show you how do we distinguish position and displacement and how do we represent them in terms of vectors. So let us take an example. Let us suppose this is a car which is moving. So let us say it moved from a position, initial position, which we could see somewhere around here, say from position P1, and let us say the final position is some P2. So the car moved from P1 to P2. So now we will see how do we represent its position and its displacement in terms of vectors, because displacement is a vector quantity, right? Let us look at that. We'll look at it graphically. Initially it was at position P1. So let us say this is a point, say P1. So initially it is at this position. So how do we represent this position in terms of vector? We always denote any point, or we take the origin as the reference. This is our origin. So this origin is always taken as the reference. That means any vector or any position which we talk about is measured from the origin. So when I say that the initial position was at P1, so the straight line joining this point from the origin is the position vector. So this is called the position vector. So OP1, if we say this is P1, so OP1 is a position vector which denotes the initial position of the car, right? Similarly, let us suppose I say that the final position is P2. So what would be the position vector? This line with this arrow. So since we are measuring the direction from origin to P2, therefore its direction would be towards P2. So OP2 is again a position vector of the car at some point P2. Now when I talk of displacement vector, what would be the displacement? Displacement is nothing but the total path between the initial and the final position, right? This is what we had studied from the basic idea of displacement. So in this graph, if we see, our displacement vector would be nothing but the straight line joining P1 and P2. But since it is a vector quantity, so this will also have a direction. So P1, P2 is nothing but the displacement vector, right? So as I told you, all of these should be denoted with an arrow over their head because they are all vector quantities. So what did we see here? What I tried to emphasize here was when we talk of position vector and displacement vector, because position vector is the basic of all vector quantities. I mean, whenever we'll talk of any other vector quantities, it will be in terms of position vectors. So it is very important to understand what is this position vector actually. So when we saw that a car moved from some position P1 to some position P2, when we represent that graphically, we say that let us say this point P1 represents the initial position. So in this case, when I draw this graph, what do you think is there on the y-axis and on the x-axis? In this case, this point P1 represents how much it covered along y-axis and how much it covered along x-axis, because now we are not talking of a motion in a straight line, right? So here x and y are representing the coordinates. So we say that initial position is P1, final position is P2. So for P1, a line which joins P1 from O represents the position vector. Similarly for P2, the line joining it from O is the position vector. So this OP1 and OP2 are the position vectors, and the line which joins the 2 points, initial and the final point, is the displacement vector. Fine. Now let us go ahead and try to see how do we add vectors? Because in the previous slide we saw the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division of scalar quantities. Now we will see those things for vector quantities, and that is why I introduced this concept of position vectors, so that it becomes easier for you to understand the vector addition. So now we'll start with vector addition. Now triangle method is the method which is followed or which is used to add vectors. So what is this triangle method? Let us look at that. Let us suppose we have two vectors A and B. So this is vector A and this is vector B. Now we have to add these two vectors. So how will we do that? So now I will teach you the triangle method. So what we do, this first step that we do in a triangle method is take one of these vectors. See, you have to add A and B. So we have just drawn A as it is. We didn't do any changes. We have just kept A. Now you take vector B and you place it with A in such a way that the tail of A and the head of B coincide. That means you have to place B with A in such a way that B's head, that is this point, should be on this point. That means you have to place B in this way. So the same vector in the same direction, you just took it from here and you have placed it in such a way that its head coincides with the tail of the vector A. Now this method is normally referred to as the head to tail method. Head to tail. Now it is very obvious and clear to you why is it called head to tail method? Because head of one vector coincides with the tail of the other vector. So the first step is done. In the next step, what we do is this A and B, they are considered as two sides of a triangle. So when I say that I want to add A and B, so addition of A and B is nothing but the line which joins these two line ends. That means, see, A is in this direction, B is in this direction. So the resultant, this vector is nothing but, this resultant vector, let us suppose we denote it by R. So this resultant vector denotes the sum of A and B, and the direction of this vector would be in this direction, because A is in this direction, B is in this direction. So it is moving anti-clockwise. So this resultant would be in the opposite direction. So this is a convention which we follow in order to add vectors. So this R is equal to vector A plus vector B. So I hope it is clear to you. So this is how we add vectors. And why is it called triangle method? Because we make a triangle or we construct a triangle to get the sum of two vectors. So what we did, once again we'll review. We had two vectors. We placed one vector A as it was. We took the other vector and we placed it with A in such a way that head of B coincides with tail of A. After that, we joined the free ends of both the vectors to form a triangle. So the line which joins the free ends is nothing but the resultant vector R, which is equal to vector A plus vector B. When we talk of the direction of R, it would always be in the opposite conventional direction. That means if A is going in this direction, B is going in this direction. So R will not go in this direction. I mean, suppose A is in this, B is in this direction. So R should not be in this direction. R will go in the opposite direction. Fine. So I hope the vector addition, that is the triangle method of vector addition, is clear to you now. So these are the very basic things for vectors. So when we proceed further, we will, based on these only, we will proceed on the advanced topics. Now let us go ahead and look at vector subtraction. So for vector subtraction also, we will apply the same concept with a slight change. Let us look at that. Here again we have two vectors A and B. Now let us suppose here I ask you to subtract B from A. That means you have to find the value of A minus B. That is vector A minus vector B. Now see, A minus B can be very well written as vector A plus minus of vector B. They are one and the same thing, right? This is just another way of writing A minus B. So basically what we are trying to say is we are adding vector A with negative of vector B. So here also we will apply the same triangle law which we applied in the previous slide to add two vectors, just that in this case we will add A not to B, but we'll add A to minus B. So let us look at how do we do that. Here also we'll place A as it is and we'll place B with A such that head of B coincides with tail of A. Now if this is vector B, then this would be minus B, because this minus sign indicates nothing but it shows that it is in the opposite direction of B. So the magnitude and everything will remain the same, just that it is in the opposite direction. So if B was in this direction, this is minus B. So this is vector A and this is vector minus B. So this was again what we did in head to tail method. Now you see, this is A, this is B. So we have to add these two. That means the addition will be given by the line which joins these two free ends to form a triangle. Now this is the direction of A, this is the direction of B. So what would be the direction of R? The direction of R would be this. So here R is equal to A plus minus B. That means R is nothing but A minus B. So we found the subtraction of two vectors. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.